Hello, and welcome to Let's Drone Out.
Also known as Let's Start the Show and Jack Goes and Gets Water.
Today, we can see the inside of Jack's fridge. Hello, Jack's fridge. And here's the man himself, Jack.
Ready for my fridge.
We said we're going to start the
Fridge
show,
F.
and then Jack was like, okay, I'll go get a drink. So, just out of sheer
Yeah.
spite, we
Didn't realise
started
you
the
pressed the
show.
button. Sorry, buddy. Fridge FPV for the win.
Oh, man.
It's the new sticker.
Good
out.
evening, everyone. This is Let's Drone Out, episode 477, recorded on Thursday, the 17th of October, 2024. Welcome. Hello. Tonight you are joined by Jack, Brighton to Life
Hello.
Fly, the Ton Star, Tony,
Bonjour.
Jack's
My
darling wife.
yes, and of course Jack's darling wife. We shouldn't need to say it now because everyone knows it, but nonetheless it remains true. And camera dude himself, Cole, at the bottom there. Hello.
Howdy. Howdy.
And myself, Stephen. Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
Me
So we're-
and Cole. Oh, go on.
We're not at horror stories just yet, but should use this time to remind everyone that it's going to be a Halloween show. So if anything's caught fire, disappeared up a tree or up a cow, please let us know.
Up a cow. That sounds
Especially, that's very Halloween worthy.
My favourite, I think, was on the Flight Test podcast, and they were talking about like flying at some event or whatnot, and they were flying a plane, and they were all the same plane together, like a group of them, like a little
And they all have the same
squadron.
model.
Yeah, and they flew and they came and then they done like a perfect landing, and it was the best landing they ever did. And then some other guy walks out to their plane and they started looking at the wrong plane, and they'd been flying someone else's plane and they had no idea where their plane ended up. that is shocking. That's like
advertisement for
tuning
FPV
into
right
someone
there.
else's FPV feed and like flying their flight.
Yeah, that's wow. Yeah, there's a lot of people at Horizon Hobbies that must sell hundreds of the same model, same paint job and everything.
I've been out flying twice this week.
Wow.
Well done.
yeah.
Yes.
What?
I
What
know.
has what is going on in the world? Jack flew twice in 1 week?
I know.
What?
And
How many packs?
2 on the first day and 3 today.
What? I thought you said you had 6
That's an
packs.
extended session.
I thought you said you
Yeah, I
had
know.
6 ready.
Yeah, I lent one to a friend, and
okay.
I've still got 2 fully charged. And if
You
it's
must
not
run
2
that battery
shit,
on your
I'll try and
laptop,
go
mate.
tomorrow. Huh?
Nice.
You must have run out of battery on your laptop because it's normally like half an hour of laptop usage per pack blown. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I
know.
literally yelled at Jack the other day, actually, when he went out and flew his 2 packs, because there were like some settings that he was going to change. Sorry for, I'm going to expose you, Jack.
No, it's
So
fine.
there were settings that he could change via OSD with stick commands. And I'm like, no, Jack, you can do this. He's like, "No, I'm just getting out the laptop." I'm like, it's only going to take 10 seconds. He's like, no, I'm quicker in the laptop. And I'm like, it takes longer just to open the backpack, bro.
I know.
It's okay. You know what? Like, you will do it one day. I will force you.
Yeah.
I do hate
I
when you get
know, I
like
did.
five menus deep and you're trying to change things and you're just like left, up. Yeah, some things are useful with stick commands, but some things drive me insane.
Yeah. And I'm yet to meet anyone who can use camera control through the OSD.
Camera
and sticks.
control
Can
was
you
put
do
there to
that, Cole?
frustrate us.
No.
Someone
But-
asked me about camera control, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll help you out, mate. Yeah, let's do this." And I started reading the how-to page on camera control, and it's like, for this type of camera, we recommend soldering a 10 kilo ohm resistor. For this type of camera, we recommend a 330 ohm resistor soldered between these 2 pins. For this type of camera, I'm like, oh, sweet Jesus, no.
No, see,
Do not
for-
use
for-
camera control. And
No.
every single flight controller is different as well, it seems.
no, with camera control, this is what you do. You can, if you really want, on the back of your analog camera. You still have your little joystick thing connected to it. So if you really want to, you can hook it up. But for me, in the last, what I would say, 2-3 years, I guess 2 years, the only time I've used camera control, point blank period, whether it was, just on the camera itself, was I got a new camera. I need to remove OSD elements.
Yeah.
I've never gone in on the flight controller through the GUI or anything like that to go change stuff like that.
Or once in a blue moon when you're flying at twilight and you're like, stop going color black and white, just stay on black and white or something.
Well, see, that's the thing.
Mode.
I have mine are always on auto. And if I need to make some slight adjustments, I use my Fat Shark goggles. I turn up the brightness, change the contrast a little bit.
Yeah,
that's it. I'd never touch it. And
the only thing that would get me is when it was in that awkward sort of hinterland between enough light for color mode and not enough, and it would kind of go from color and drop into black and white mode, and then you go just turn out the shadows, and it would go, oh, it's bright enough, back to color mode, and that would be a bit jarring. So sometimes I turn off auto, but that's like a once a year change.
Well, see, I never have I never do the auto black and white to color one. Like I always just have it on color. And then I just use a cat cam, and then you don't need black and white for low light because it can just see everything. So, but that was kind of my go-to. But, Jack, though, you were going to say something about Cole and I something, and then you got cut off there at the beginning.
I can't remember. Oh no, yeah, yeah, that's it. Me and Cole. Caroline Taylor is in the chat.
Yes,
and Tyler, sorry. Yeah, your camera settings, and Clive's in there as well on the Discord group, because we made Cole's special camera corner where you can ask all manner of camera related interests and questions.
Well, you know what? So so Caroline, I did see your, I just, as you wrote it in the chat, I saw your video in the Discord, and it does look like it's a little on the dark side, and I'm not talking about Star Wars, but the color correction made it look good. Although, yeah, I think on a day like that, you wouldn't really need any ND filter. I guess maybe should we show it? Is Caroline okay with us showing it, or
you could do a still?
Say in the chat.
Yeah,
you probably want a still, to be honest, because otherwise it's just a blurry mess on YouTube.
Yeah, the ND8 was a mistake.
Yeah,
sure,
I would say
you can show it.
Okay. So here, let's let me figure out how to do internet things. Share.
Outer internet for old people.
No. Cole's
So,
now.
Yeah. So it looks like RunCam Thumb 2.
Embiggen. You've got a window in a window, and there you are. Lovely.
So it looks like, yeah, it was definitely really underexposed. I'm wondering if you had your ISO locked at 100. If it was, that would, the ND plus the ISO at 100 would have been the culprit for it being this dark. The color correction actually seemed to be able to bring back quite a lot, which is very surprising, and it's still clean. It doesn't look like grainy or anything like that.
About the exposure, aren't you normally someone who says, avoid the sky getting blown out and like make sure you've got enough to capture all that contrast?
Well, what I usually say is like, on a day like this, what I would actually do is just expose evenly. If it was like I have everything sort of at 0 on the exposure meter.
I live in this country, so I can tell you that sky should be like a light concrete color. That's what it should look like for accurate portrayal of England.
Yeah. I mean, the only other thing I would say, I don't think I have it at full resolution, which is
this a golf course? Did anyone else see the strange man stood in the clearing of the trees?
There's a guy walking a dog right there.
Yeah.
Is walking a dog a euphemism or?
I don't know. I'm actually
he's on a cruise.
I actually quite like the way that the image looks, even though it was so underexposed and you brought it back. It's very surprising. I would say ditch the ND filter on a day like this, and
Yeah.
maybe set a range of like 100 to maybe 400 at most with the ISO.
She's recovered quite a bit there, though. I mean,
Yeah.
either got very lucky with the color correction, or there's something to that, because it seemed like the grass and everything came out okay.
Yeah, and I guess what did I say for settings? I'm gonna just scroll up here and I said for so for ISO for overcast days, I said 100 to max 400 on the ISO, maybe 800 pushing it.
Start bringing in noise though. If you
Yeah.
start pushing it up.
Yeah, that's why I said 400 max, 800 is kind of pushing it, but I think.
Have you tried one of those little run cam? I think it's a run cam that she's got, isn't it? One of the little L-shaped things.
The little thumbs,
have you tried those?
I haven't tried it. No, I've only ever tried the Runcam 5 Orange.
Because I guess you're not getting a great sensor in there. It's nothing like a GoPro sensor, right?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think there's no really such thing as a bad sensor these days. It's just really comes.
Well, it's the software, isn't it?
Yeah.
The image processing on the camera.
Yeah. So Caroline Tyler saying the worst thing about that camera is that you can't preview the video.
Right.
It definitely is a decent picture, though. Yeah. So I'm curious. So, oh, you're right, because I'm going back to my Runcam 5 Orange days, and it was like, okay, set up some settings on your phone, do the little QR code scan thing, and like hope for the best. I had actually never used ND filters with the Runcam 5 Orange, but yeah, I would say going like next time you go out, if it's a day like that, just ditch the ND and should be better. Yeah, Audio Geck saying their Runcam 5 Orange produced 110 megabit videos. Still not a GoPro. No, it's definitely not. But I don't know, man. I think that it's not necessarily all about bitrate. It's like, bitrate is like a big thing. Like obviously the more data, the better it's going to look. But I mean, you look at like an old, say like Canon Rebel camera. The bit rates on those are terrible, but you could still get some decent video out of it. So I do think it's kind of all in the settings. It's really all in the settings, and like it's a never-ending experiment, really. Like you kind of you got to find what works the best, and you don't always get that first try, which I've learned.
Yeah, you got to find that lucky coincidence where you're playing to the camera's strengths and doing what it does best. Because there's a whole bunch of the sensor's one part, but there's a lot of black box between the sensor and the memory card. There's going to be some image processing stuff that you have on your mobile phone. Like your mobile phone probably has a plastic lens and a sensor that is minute, and yet you can get some great photos because it just throws software at the problem. And there's a huge variation in the level that cameras do that. Something like a GoPro, a lot of their intellectual property that makes the GoPros great is that kind of image modeling and color science, that they're altering that image in software. Once it comes off the sensor, they're denoising it, they're pumping up the colors, they're applying all sorts of effects. And that's often the difference between the expensive cameras and the cheap ones. It's not necessarily you get a massive lens assembly and something that looks like a professional camera, like an SLR, but it's going on in software, right?
Well, take a look at this. So this is literally from a phone. This is from an iPhone. And I actually compared, like, when I saw this clip, I didn't realize where it was from at first, because I thought it was from like my actual Sony mirrorless. And then I was like, wait, no, this isn't. This is actually just from my
That's
iPhone.
Incredible.
Like, dude, that's what I'm saying. Like,
you see.
Any camera is capable.
The video clip for our audio listeners is a view out over the mountains, and you're able to see with great clarity peaks probably some 25, 30 kilometers away. A great amount of contrast in the clouds. There's some kind of sunset level lighting that's really portrayed very well, and perfect levels of contrast. Everything remains visible.
Yeah, and the dynamic range is still even good. So It's like that's what I mean. Like that's when I sort of say like it's not necessarily it's not really about the cameras or the sensors or anything these days because they're all capable. They're all fully capable. It's just getting the right settings. That's the one thing I would stress the most.
And you might find that what's actually coming off the sensor in that iPhone is a pretty grainy image, and it's doing some edge detection and like, you know, removing the noise from
Noise
it, and doing
reduction,
all sorts of tweaks. And this has been seen in extremis with Samsung phones, right? Where people they've taken pictures of the moon and they've got something that looks like a penny with no detail on it at all, just a penny in a flashlight, basically. And the Samsung will be like, well, based on what we see in like Wikipedia and online image libraries of maps of the moon and the time of day and the position on Earth where you are, it probably looks like this. And it'll just like put all the moon features that are totally invisible to the camera and just slap them onto the image for you.
Yeah, that's wild. That's absolutely wild. Yeah. Yeah. That is a very weird thing. I think a lot of people were I think it misrepresented the camera quality in that when it first sort of came out, that feature. People didn't realize like, oh, this is actually kind of like, is AI the right word? Maybe. Yeah.
Well, a lot of image process. AI is maybe overplaying the hand a little bit, but it's definitely doing some like machine learning on it for sure.
Yeah.
Well, augmented reality.
Yeah. So it's finding something that it knows is the right answer and giving you the right answer, but that wasn't actually what your phone saw at the time.
Yeah.
It's akin to like pointing your phone at a sign in Chinese and seeing the answer in English. Yeah. Computational photography, absolutely.
That's what it is.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. I mean, I would say, Caroline, next time, I think I've repeated myself 1,000 times here, but just ditch the ND on a cloudy day. That you really like. ND is just sunglasses for your camera, right? So if there's no sun, you probably don't need sunglasses. So that's kind of how I think of it.
Unless you're trying to deliberately slow the frame rate, I guess, right? And get more blur.
Yeah, if you want that slow shutter speed and whatnot, yeah. But
I'm very anti that. I'll grumble about it all day.
Yeah, I honestly I don't really care all that much. Although I do find that if it's like a bright sunny day and you don't have ND filter and your shutter speed's really high, sometimes you can actually get jello effect and wobbles and stuff because basically I think it's more prone to picking up vibration because there's basically the window is opening and closing, or
it'll capture more high frequency motion.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So that's actually the only reason I use ND filter on GoPros or cameras in general, is just to avoid that stuttery or vibration sort of look. Yeah.
But you can fly around it. You just need to like mind the throttle. If you're gonna like stick bang all the time, then you're probably the kind of person that wants that. But if you can avoid like banging on the sticks quite so hard, you can probably fly around the vibration.
Yeah. I was actually looking back at footage from Taiwan recently, and there was actually, let me see if I can find it because it might show better. And I don't know if we're like trying to talk about this whole show or not, but I guess it's pretty relevant. Let's see.
On a related note, I went to the cinema recently, and while I absolutely freaking love these new like 4K laser projectors, I saw Alien Romulus. An okay movie, high points, low points, but the thing that really got me was there was an amazing clarity of image when it came to detail, but you're still looking at like 24 frames a second, and a lot of the fight scenes and fast action things, I was very much looking at a slideshow. I was looking at like freeze frames of action, and I was painfully aware that I wasn't looking at motion. The motion was so fast, and it was like shaky cam, sort of very fast camera moves. But you just see like freeze frame, because your 24 frames a second is not that many frames when you're spinning the camera around like crazy and you're sat right in front of a 4K screen.
Yeah, see, the thing is, for me, I actually prefer 24 frames per second. Like Audio Gex saying high shutter speed's only a problem when shooting at a low frame rate. Maybe I don't know. Like I know that it's definitely a problem at 24 and 30, which I guess would be considered lower frame rates. And I am curious to see, like on like a bright sunny day, if I say shot at 120 frames per second with a high shutter speed, if it would still give me vibrations and whatnot. I'd have to try that out. But
I've got a bit of footage at summertime that I captured on the O3 when I was flying at 120 frames a second because I wanted that in the goggles, and so that's just what you'd get. And it was okay, but you definitely have to like baby the craft around a bit to make sure that you're not bringing out the worst.
yeah, so this video here, so this was actually a day when, for some odd reason, I made the choice to use ND8 opposed to ND16, which I pretty much always just default to ND16. And there were certain times when I was going down this, basically just kind of like doing like the little mini dive here down this little hill, where I would notice a little bit of, I'm gonna see if I can find it. There was a bit of vibrational sort of like whatever happening. And it's not all the time. It was only at like a certain clip. So I got to see if I can find it. And it was only when I was going down the hill.
It'd be really nice if you could isolate that with GyroFlow, because that feels like something that GyroFlow should be able to do at some point.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, hold on. Let me get up to the top of the hill so I can go back down the hill and find this.
It's crazy that that's Crossfire and only 25 milliwatt. Like, I mean, it's mad what you can do.
Dude, I'm literally like I'm only across. If you see the water like straight down, I'm only on the other side of that water. There's a little bank, and then like I'm not far, dude. I'm probably like
line of sight, and line of sight in an environment where no one else is blasting the radio waves as well.
Dude, I'm probably less than like 200 meters away from myself. But okay, let's see. I just want to find the wobble. Okay, I know it's coming up around here, but you only can really notice it in like the background. Hold on. Where is it?
This reminds me of Tony and the roaches.
Oh, there was a little bit of it. Okay, if you look at the trees or the bushes that are coming up ahead of me,
get a little bit of line.
You'll see like in a split second, right around now, you might get like there's like a slight little,
especially on
can't
YouTube.
Even notice
like
it.
We're looking at the crunched version of this, and it's not visible. It looks quite good.
Yeah, you're right. And I always look at things with like a fine-tooth comb. So like,
yeah, I mean, maybe if you were getting paid to like by a travel agency to produce something, sure, you could nitpick, but like, it's still a beautiful bit of footage just to take home with you, you know.
Well, speaking of beautiful bit of footage, this part is not very beautiful. This part actually sucked. If you notice what happened to my DVR.
Whoopsie.
Yeah, I think I probably showed this to you guys before, but yeah, I'm really lucky that I gave my friend that monitor to hold, because that was literally my DVR on the right. I couldn't see shit, dude. It was there had to have been something wrong with my goggles actually, and yeah,
you're lucky you didn't fly into a tree. Like that was going pretty close.
I kind of did
a little bit.
There's
tap,
the tree.
love tap.
I got really lucky, man.
Hello, chickens.
Yeah, but actually, it's funny that we're talking about those goggles and that issue at the moment right now, because those exact goggles that I just had that problem where all of a sudden my screen went blank. I was having this issue recently before I just traveled a couple of weeks ago, and I was getting noise in my goggles that had nothing to do with a drone, had nothing to do with a receiver, had nothing to do with anything. So there was some weird noise being generated inside the goggles, and it looks like Fat Shark just sent me an email.
Were you bugged? Were you bugged by the dark forces that control our every movement?
Yep. Yeah. And Tony, what does Fat Shark have to say now? It says, "We're getting your order ready." I don't know. It says it's $0. It's a $0 order, but
so you put it in for support.
Yep, I did a support thing on it, and it doesn't say what it is, but
are they going to tell you what it was, or are they just going to be like, "Ta-da, magic fix"?
Well, no, you know what they said was basically, let me find the email that I had with them, because you know what, they were actually great, and I was very surprised to even get an email back from Fat Shark in this day and age. Although I guess they're still around, but
It's just
You know,
Greg sitting there in his garage. He's probably not even dressed. He's just wearing like a bathrobe and slippers, just hammering at the keyboard.
So it was actually, I don't know if it was Greg who it was. It was actually it was
Goes by Berg
Patrick.
these days.
It was Patrick from Australia, New Zealand, in the repairs department, and we were trying to do some troubleshooting, and then, believe it or not, out of nowhere, Rotor Riot popped up in the thread and said, "Hey, where are you located? I can, basically get you in touch with the right people." And yeah, I think it was Jason from Rotor Riot ended up popping up and
Sweet.
they're helping me out. So shout out to Fat Shark and shout out to Rotor Riot. Believe it or
Still
not,
keeping the customers happy. It's good to hear the customer service carried on, because that was something everyone always boasted about, that they had really strong customer service. I think even Andy RC 8 years ago was saying how good the customer service was. So good to see that carries on.
Absolutely. Although I am confused. I'm wondering what it says. The item name is strange. I don't know what it says. It says, because I'm using HDOs, which is that's the goggles that I was having an issue with. And
Are you going to get back something that is newer because they don't have any in stock?
well, it's weird. It says, this is what the item says. It says DOM V3/HD2, 3/V6 RX HDMI FSV 3210. So
It sounds
maybe
like there's a common board that is in all of those models.
must
that's
be
in yours too, and it's busted.
Yeah, I bet you that's probably what it is. I wonder if it'll pop up.
Oh yeah, to drone shots, 24 frames is all it takes to trick your eyes. I mean, I think that's what I was getting at. I think that's subjective. Like, it's not 24 frames a second for everyone. And for me, 24 frames a second, if the camera is moving like left to right, or it's moving around very fast and not just tracking something in a stable shot, it just looks like a series of static images to me. It no longer looks like motion. That's the problem.
Yeah. So it's weird. It's sorry, and I don't mean to go back to to go back to this thing, but it says it's a VIN board PCB data transmission system. Sorry, my new friend Greg. Oh, it wasn't Greg. I wasn't speaking with Greg. It was
Patrick.
Patrick and Jason. I like you guys. You guys are awesome. Analog for the win.
Well, hopefully you can keep those in business for a while longer. They've traveled a long way, right? You've been to Taiwan with them a couple of times now.
UK,
they've got the miles on them.
Canada, yeah, yeah, man. I ended up buying because of this issue. I kind of like didn't really trust those goggles anymore, because they've been like progressively something weird's been going on with them since that video.
You've got to have a spare, man. Like,
yeah,
everyone always says this. Always take a spare.
Well, it's crazy. Like a couple days before I went on this recent trip, I found someone locally selling Fat Shark HDOs with a rapid fire, with True RC Singularity, and a random iFlight patch for like under $100. And I was like,
wow, that's a steal.
Thank you.
Just the antennas and the module would be like $100.
I know. So I do have a backup now. So then I guess I'll hopefully do this repair with the board that Fat Shark sends me. And then I have 2 pairs, apparently. I'm just hoping that that's the case. Although I feel like they wouldn't have just randomly sent me that board, because they like, without, having some knowledge behind it. Like, the issue I was having, maybe it's a known issue or something's going on. Like, I don't know.
Man, it just sounds like wear and tear. And they're probably just being like, yep, for inventory, here's the board, this is the part we used, so they could do their stock tracking. They install it for you, they ship it back. I'm sure it'll be fine. If hey, you're on a podcast, you can tell us all about it. We'll see what happens to your support case.
Yeah. Well, have you guys ever swapped a board inside your Fat Sharks before? Because I never have.
I swapped a board inside my Sky Zones. Yeah.
Is that
took
what's
my
that
Sky
like?
Zones apart, and what the fuck was it? It was inside because they've got these funky little VRX modules, right, in the Sky Zones. They've got their own module in there.
Yeah.
And I kind of pried it apart and put on the updated module, which included an ELRS backpack built into the module. So I like
Yeah.
it wasn't fully like taking the optics apart or anything, you know, it was just like module disassembly. That was a little bit of a pain in the butt, but they'd done a nice job, and it was like socketed with pins and stuff. So it was like a 20-minute job. Wasn't too bad.
Okay. It's just weird because like I'm looking at the actual part online, and I don't understand. Like, I've never seen a US. Am I crazy? I've not seen a USB on my
It's
No,
an
it's
HDMI?
mini HDMI.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
Look how many
Because
pins
it
it
says
is, man.
HDMI
That
on the
ain't
part code you
USB.
just gave us.
oh, true. Yeah.
yeah.
Huh. So then, what's this switch then, and what's this input?
This will be the external ports on your goggles, mate. There'll be a switch like that somewhere on your goggles, right?
Yeah, on the
Oh,
bottom left.
yes. To change
turns the
receiver
module
on,
on and
receiver off. Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
power to it,
And that's
and the headphone thing,
that's
right?
aux in.
Yeah.
I think. No,
Ah.
aux in's on the side. I think that's headphones. Yeah, you're right.
Interesting. Okay, so basically, I'm gonna have to rip apart the whole goggles and then take that. Well,
Well, I hope
wonder-
they are going to fit it for
That's
you,
not
because that
that's not the
looks
bit
like
you got the problem with. You've
It's
got
taking
the
out
problem
the-
with the driver board at the top.
you
Mhm.
reckon.
Yeah.
Well, why are they sending him that? They should know what's busted. If you sent them in for repair, they wouldn't send him the wrong board and then be like, "Get out of here."
well, see, the thing
Surely.
is, they're not sending. I'm not sending it in for repair. They're just sending me the board.
Oh, really? Oh, I thought
Yeah.
you'd actually mailed it in. Oh,
Mm-mm.
mm,
No,
mm,
no.
spicy. Okay, that'll be
You right,
fun.
Tone? We're keeping you up.
Well, you can use the opportunity to like vacuum out all the fluff that's got in there for years and years of wear. You'll probably get like a
He's
small.
a clean freak. He hasn't seen fluff in his life.
He'll open it up, and there'll be something that looks like someone shaved a cat and left it inside his goggles. He'll just scream.
That's me.
Ah. So Clive has swapped so it is the HDMI board then that I'll be swapping.
It's
on
easy
the
to swap out. Just take care splitting the goggles on the cable. Oh, splitting the goggles as the cables don't have a lot of slack. So when you pull the two plastic halves apart, go slow, because you might yank a cable out, and you're going to need to be very careful with those little cables inside.
I wonder, do I have to take out the screens to do this repair? Probably not,
Don't
right?
need to. No. This
Okay,
is
that's
all
good.
behind the screens. You got the screens and the optics that goes onto the face side, and everything else is the other side behind the screens.
Okay. Well, fingers crossed. I mean, what do you think? I should be able to handle this, Jack? Okay. That Jack is like I always like go to Jack. I'm like, Jack, am I capable of this? Please tell me.
Why not?
And he's like my what's the word? Like, I don't know. I double check things with Jack because Jack is pretty good at.
I double check things with you.
Yeah.
I just saw a picture of a Tesla sticker that someone's got. They've got a Tesla, and the bumper sticker reads, "Bought it before we knew how awful he is."
Man, this morning I was driving. There was a Tesla that was driving horribly. I'm like, don't they drive themselves? Like, what are you doing? Like, you own a Tesla, but you're not.
No more beer for you, computer.
Yeah, I was actually really annoyed because they tried to like do a U-turn in the middle of like a road that we were going. Like there wasn't like a moment for them to do a U-turn. They just decided to like, I'm going to stop here, and then I'm going to veer to the right, and then I'm going to do my U-turn, all while traffic is going. I'm like, okay, you're a good driver.
Yeah. I mean, that is like typical behavior for a taxi driver in London, where they just like have complete hatred of everyone else on the road.
Yeah. No. Oh, what is this?
Little mini.
Dun.
Ooh.
Look at that.
We see
what
an
is it?
ESC.
I love the
Very
plus and
neatly.
minus cutouts, man. That's
I
cool.
know.
Very neat.
Adorable.
I think I've got one like. Is that a KM60?
It is a. Do you know what? It doesn't say. I don't know what it is. But yeah, it might be. But it's a tiny little one.
Is it 20 by 20?
Yeah.
That might be their
So
KM55.
it's either
super
Kiss
cute.
Ultra or Betaflight, and I don't know. I'm thinking
What?
Do
maybe
both.
Kiss Ultra.
You've got screwdrivers.
Yeah, I know. Do I have to be massive still?
No.
You are massive.
I know. That's the problem.
You're
Jack
massively in our hearts because we love you, Jack.
So how's the little quad building going then? I can see there's evidently been some preparations made there.
Yeah, it's mate, it's going to be a slow process because I don't have a camera and I don't have a mini tiny little VTX. Like I had a Robin, Runcam Robin, and I have not seen it. I don't know where it is since the move and the move back. There's a lot of hello off axis. How are you? I know you. Yeah, like there's a lot of stuff that's kind of gone missing. I'm looking to go back to PCB, but I have
Runcam
been
Robin. I've never seen those.
Yeah, I have been this ST Link has been working overtime. Stephen, you have created a monster.
You found the slightly less horrible way of doing it, though, right? That now means you can be a production
Yes,
line of
because of
ESC
you.
flashing.
Yes,
More
like
will be
you.
revealed in a future episode where we will be talking to the hard people at work, bringing you AM32.
And I submitted a bug report, and they fixed it, and
What
then
you
I
say
had
to
to
people hard at
reflash
work.
everything again to a new bootloader. It's been great.
Yeah, I think they've now got like online bootloader upgrades, like the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I've even flashed stuff that hasn't even been listed with different bootloaders and you know, not target specified.
Spicy.
You know, ones that will just work. Yeah, it's been a bit
You can
crazy.
select a drop down for your favorite tunes and things and all that doodah.
I was trying to find my STM loader, but all I could find was my FTDI adapter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
it's orange.
subtly different. That's like low voltage UART, whereas yeah. And he's
So,
gone.
I don't think he's. I don't know. Hi, Jody. Who's Jody?
Yeah, the ST Link stuff, they're remarkably good value. They're like £4. Okay, they're off brand, but they all bloody
Who
work
cares?
and they work fine.
Yeah. I mean, I did have to update this. It was like massive.
You made one of those CMSys, did you? Out of the ST Link. Did you convert the ST Link into like CMSys DAP and all that for your Rory?
No, not yet. No,
you just did all of them with the ST Link. It was able to do like the Artery Tech and everything. Oh, that's awesome. So you used to need, if you had like a different type of MCU that wasn't STM32, you had to like hop around and yeah, exactly. Same thing. Same little funky off-brand ST Link adapters. They work great. I've got a purple one over there, I think somewhere. They all look basically the same. Yeah, you used to have to screw around and get different gadgets for different chips, but now you can just use that same one for everything. Makes everything way easier. And Andrew Tridgewell has created this little utility that just flashes the bootloader without you needing to download fucking hacker level embedded software engineer applications. It's just like a simple version, hit button, go. Beautiful.
Yeah, I even repaired a ESC for Clive and flashed it. I'm still basically I am enjoying AM32 because it is a bit more raw, and I am shocked how much filtering BRHeli 32 does, and how much it babies you, and really it's very, very complimenting on your your flying, and I'm just like, okay, fair enough, I'll take that. But then, oh my word, like AM32 is very sort of like visceral and
Seat of
raw,
the pants.
but very smooth. But when I sharpen high up on the throttle, I am getting the sort of like jitters and like pitch jitters and sort of it going a bit crazy.
It
I've
like
got
gives you more D gain effectively, doesn't it? Like
yeah,
it feels like you've
I'm
got
having
more
to
D
like
gain.
lower the D. No one likes lowering D. Well, that's what she said. But
Don't lower your D, Jack. Don't
You've
do
been
it.
fitting
I know.
diodes as well. What's going on there, mate? You can
Yeah,
bulletproof some
old
stuff.
yeah, I don't. It's yeah. Clive sent me a ESC to flash, and it was missing a diode.
Oh,
See the
not
reference
even a big one.
designator.
That is a
Yeah,
Whoa.
tiny little chap. What's that? What size is that? 06 something?
yeah, something like that. But I fitted an oversized one, so that should do like 4 to 5S, and hopefully, because it's massively oversized, it should. I
Whoa.
think it's like a little
Beast.
TVS diode, but like is it Almac? You know, like who we're gonna have on next week. I kind of like chatted with him and sort of figured some stuff out, but
Nice.
I stupidly should have read the documentation. I turned on sinusoidal slow startup and
Hot
had a bit
mode.
of an incident. If you
What
guys
the
could see
hell
that,
is? I think we're going to need to embiggen
that's like
Jack Solo.
yeah,
That's not
That's
a
a-
that's not a
most
drone.
of a field.
That is
Yeah.
a lawnmower, actually.
So what were you
That's-
doing? Were you trying to mow the grass in sign mode? What was the goal
Yeah,
here?
Show the
Well,
video, Jack. Show the video.
it's very it's very crawlery. Yeah, hang on, let me find the video.
The
It was
sign
very
mode gives you that lovely, smooth sort of
slow, yeah.
but up
But
to
it's
about
high
like
draw.
100 RPM. Like you're not
Tony.
really going to fly on it.
Yeah,
Oh, past Tony's bedtime.
yeah, by Tony.
Well, it's funny because it really was. Well, you'll see in the video. I was kind of ripping Jack a new derriere on it because I'm like, Jack, what are you doing? Disarm your drone.
It's for a crawler.
Yeah,
And
so you can do, you can go up that like 50-degree incline and just slowly go up there. You need a big motor though, because it's super inefficient. So it's dumping current into the motor, and the motor's getting super hot. And if it's like, a 22 motor, it's gonna burn the crap out of there. It's designed for like 30 size, 40 size motors, big bastards that have a lot of thermal mass.
Well, so I know, Jack, you were kind of going on and on about sinusoidal startup or whatever, right? Or I don't know what the correct term is, but it's weird how, because it's technically the superior thing, is it not?
It's smoother, but it's not efficient.
No, it's designed for crawlers. I should have definitely checked it out. Like just RTFM. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like a 5-second Google search, but
So
it was just like, I just kind of like wanted to, I was just like kind of playing with settings and seeing how much they started up. And
I did the same
I
thing,
kind of
and like
left it on.
I got a funny smell, and I think I may have like done a little bit of damage to some coils. But yeah, with sinusoidal, you're getting like literally a nice smooth sine curve, and you think, oh, that looks lovely. But when the when you're driving a phase and it's not at minimum or maximum, you're kind of just wasting power, because with a quad motor, it's all about making the change as quickly as possible and just flipping from on to off and on to off. And when you're in between that, you're kind of just pissing away power, and it just turns up as heat. So it's not great.
So Jack was upside down,
And
and
I didn't disarm.
didn't disarm his fucking drone.
Is it burned?
No, it's fine. It's just full of grass. It's
Yeah.
like mowing your lawn, raking up every bit of grass and then stuffing it into the
What was going
inside
through
of
your
my
head when it was
Apex.
upside down and you're like, I don't need to disarm, I can rescue
I
this?
think
What-
I
how
was
are you
too
gonna
busy
do that?
laughing. I think I was too busy just like, oh, this is great.
Well,
And
that's why I was like,
surprised
I was
it
like,
wasn't on
okay,
fire.
he's upside down. Okay, go for the walk, get the quad. No, I'm leaving my quad armed and spinning, and then I'm gonna try and turtle and keep the prop spinning. But would I guess props out or props in wouldn't matter in that case, would it?
Props out might have.
The amount
Props
of grass
in.
that's flying
Oh,
around.
are you flying props in that?
No, like the props out. The trouble is with props out is that the rear ones then sling grass into the inside of your quad.
Yeah, I mean, at least you can
Yeah.
see.
Whereas-
That's the benefit.
Yeah.
It's like, give me the grass.
Whereas,
Give me the grass. Give me the grass.
yeah, props in just slings grass and crap
You just
into your
got,
lens.
You just got to put that in a dry cupboard and come back to it a day or two later with a brush and just.
Yeah, no, I
You know
cleaned
what?
it the next day. I was very.
I saw
disciplined.
him cleaning it, and his quad looks brand new again. I couldn't believe
Perfect.
it.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's very Jack. You're very good at cleaning stuff. You're ultra disciplined. I'll give you that.
I don't
He's
know,
like, what?
yeah.
What are you talking
Well,
about?
he's got his
No,
ultrasonic cleaner. He's got all the solutions and the brushes, like a
I
professional
can't-
electrical engineer's approach.
Yeah. Yeah, the trouble is you can't put a flight controller into a ultrasonic cleaner or a quad because it will destroy the gyro, the MCU.
Because it's
Mhm.
fundamentally mechanical. It's electromechanical.
Yeah, so you can't. Yeah, so you can't stick that in, and then also you can't stick your motors in there because it will strip all the oil out your bearings. So then you have to peel all the bloody
So what is
covers
it
off
like?
the,
A bit of ISO and a brush and
a bit of bleach and whatnot. It was
bleach.
just like
Wow,
toothbrush.
you really went to town on it.
Yeah, well, it's organic matter. You gotta use like some sort of detergent and
Yeah, I was surprised by that too. Actually, I
deionized
never heard of
water.
that. Yeah, I will say Jack is kind of like a mastermind when it comes to a lot of these little things I would have never thought of, and it's like, oh, that's why I consult with Jack for like so many things. I'm like,
It's like,
I don't know anything. Jack knows lots of things. I'm gonna
Just-
talk to Jack.
just just a monkey that is good at running checklists. That's all it is, mate. I'm not like some sort of
Well, I mean,
superhero.
That's what
I'm just a
people call
regular-
experience, mate.
Trust me. Like, I got good at building quads because I crash a lot and fuck up.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ed. Sorry, I swore.
Well, see, I reap the benefits of that. Then keep crashing and keep fixing, and I'll love it.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, like you done the legwork. You stayed in the simulator. That's why everyone's like, you're a liar. You haven't been flying for 6 months.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, he spent 6 months in the simulator.
Yeah.
They might as well call you Raiden.
It was crazy, man. Like one of my first
Metal Gear
flights,
Solid reference.
like literally one of my first flights was at a freaking construction bando, and I was doing like crazy stuff, and everyone was like, it was just analog DVR at it, but like people were wondering like how long I'd been flying for, and they were like, "What? You've only been flying for like this long?" I'm like, "Simulator."
Which simulator
Simulator.
do you recommend for freestyle then? What's your go-to?
Well, I only really have used one. Like I've played around with. I've used Curry Kitten Simulator. I've used Trip, and I think I've used whatever Jack has on his on
Lift off uncrashed.
Uncrashed.
I have got Velocidrome, but I just don't know my login. But
So
I
what's
don't think
your?
it'd
You
take
say you
me
only
much
used
to
one,
get
and then
in.
you list 5 others. Which was the one that you've used?
So I solely used and learned on liftoff. That's it. And the quad that I learned on, because you know how you can like load different quads and what was it, Jack? It was basically like an Alien or an Apex frame. What was it? Do you remember, Jack?
Nah, I don't.
There's like a specific, I don't know. He basically made it very kissy I think he made it very kissy for me. So then when I got my first quad Kiss V1, it was like I flew it and I knew how to fly it, no problem.
Lovely.
I still have all my original quads because I haven't like I mean I don't want
the
to
micro drones.
that is next actually. That is my next
Order the parts.
okay,
You flag.
I'll do it
You'll
right
get
now.
reels.
I will.
There's a melon pan.
Or I'll
park
get
that's,
reels.
lovely.
Sorry,
They've
that's
added
an
a really
inside joke.
nice urban map where you've got lots of little spaces and parked vehicles and inner city parks and overhead roads and stuff called Melon Pan Park in Liftoff Micro Drones. It's quite a lot of fun.
I have to try it out, but
The maps are getting bigger and bigger. So they've got like a sister product, I guess. So there's micro drones that's purely for whoops, and then a regular liftoff that's basically a 5-inch racing simulator which you can freestyle in. Well, the micro drones one is just on whoops basically, so indoor environments, really tight spaces, and lots of funny little gaps. And there's one level that's purely kind of flying around a fairly small apartment with a little bit of a garage outside and a kind of garden area, and you're just doing all these laps through really tight gaps. It's quite inventive. The level design is really nice.
Yeah, I've never flown a tiny whoop. Well, actually, that's kind of a lie because the first time that I ever tried acro on a quad was in 2018 at Jack's house, and I had never even flown FPV before this. And he's like, "Here, fly a little micro tiny whoop in the house. Here's the radio, and there you go, at line of sight." And I'm like,
line of sight.
Quad's just like it's just everywhere. Like I couldn't even take off. And but yeah, I want to try out some micros in real life. Especially.
Well, it's getting that time of year, man. Even lovely sunny Canada can't stay sunny forever. Sorry, Jack, I'll cut you off.
But indoor malls sure can.
Yeah. Cole screamed at me and was like, "That's dangerous and out of control."
That's dangerous and out of control.
Oh no!
Like,
and I was like,
I with a Mavic, I have so much control over this thing, man. Dude, I'm in full control with a Mavic, and I have no control with this little acro quad that's full manual control.
That's what I love about Cole now versus old Cole. And I'm like, and he starts like bloody giving me like technical bloody breakdowns of stuff, and I'm like, who are you?
Yeah,
it's so funny.
I know. You know what? I feel like I'm way better off now because I can actually repair shit that's not even drone related.
Yeah.
Like I can fix things that otherwise nobody else would be able to.
What's going on with the DJI ban? Like, is that happening over there now? I know you're that troublesome country, the unruly teenager that is at your southern border is talking about banning DJI.
The lower bowels of Canada.
The lower bowels of Canada. What about Canada? Are you staying with DJI?
I mean, I got some little DJI mini drones that work just fine, and I saw some video about the original original Dobo that apparently he had a Air 3S coming in from DJI and it got stopped at the border.
So are they actually full on banning stuff now? You say stuff's getting stopped at the border. It's actually happening now?
I don't know. I think that's here's the thing. People make videos that get views. So if something is potentially stuck at the border, like, is it just going through customs? Is it just going through the process a little slower than normal? Like,
is it because you said it was only worth like $20 to avoid tax on it?
Yeah.
Ton of ways that work out.
Dude, I guarantee you that. I mean, Christmas is coming. Lots of people are going to be having lots of brand new DJI drones. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I think that I'll believe it when I see it. Put it that way. Like, that's how I feel about a lot of things. And that's a really vague statement I just said, but like, yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. Like, companies are going to continue to make money, and they're going to keep selling things, and people are going to keep paying taxes for it, which means they're likely still going to be sold. That's my sort of off the cup view. I don't know. We shall see.
a little bit off topic, but I'm really sad that Tony's not here to talk
Oh.
about this. But I went on Fox's website because, like, I've heard Cole
Enhance.
You what?
bang on about the cat cam, and I'm
Oh,
like,
yes.
do you know what? I like, Cole, like trusting Cole, but I went on and I went FPV and others. Look at this. We all kind of know what
Embiggen,
this is
Embiggen.
probably for. But look at this. FPV video scrambler.
Well, it's
Scrambling
like-
and descrambling. Is this like a cable TV chipset from the 1980s?
I
No,
dunno.
it's just like in the kitchen when you're making breakfast and you got your eggs out. You need a scrambler. You know, sometimes your video, you got to cook up your video.
cream in at the end. Then, yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I don't know, but like I was like, this is a thing.
Next to some luggage straps that you can use to maybe tie a Coke bottle onto your drone if you need to help someone who's thirsty.
Float.
Maybe.
That's. I mean, whatever. I mean, if you
not
need
to
to,
go
if you
in
need to
it,
cook, if you need to cook up some video transmission signals in the morning, hey, I mean, it's available.
So just the optimism, thinking that they can sell something that's got like no active components on it and is clearly the simplest thing in the world, and like, it's going to take more than an afternoon for someone to figure out what's going on with that signal and decode it in software.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, on more
Jared,
positive
wanna read that
topics.
Oh, here we are.
The ban was removed by the Senate review. Now they're trying to use the slave labor cause to hold up shipments. Okay.
Okay, so there was a ban, and then it was unbanned because money, and now trying to reban.
Ethics.
Under different circumstances. Yeah.
It's kind of interesting, like that they definitely have a monopoly, but then like America has a lot of weird history with Asia in general. There's a lot of racism going on there. Just look at like people's attitudes to MSG. Like scientific studies have showed zero problems with MSG, but anecdotally people will tell you, oh, it gives you headaches, it does this, it does that, and that body of science can best be described as racism. But it kind of just stays there in popular culture.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, that whole MSG thing that's a good example actually, because kind of strange.
Yeah, I'm all for MSG personally. Just like flavor, yes, not quite as much salt as regular sodium as regular salt. So
yeah,
better for you, less sodium. Whatever.
Yeah, that's why I
But
always
I mean,
get the
most people don't try and read medical journals in these situations. They'll just like go on Facebook, and then that's where the trouble happens, I guess.
literally.
Oh yeah, we go forced labor. I mean, there's the whole anti-Muslim thing as well. That's real, but
Yeah.
it's not like Amazon are a particularly great employer either. Yeah.
Any views expressed in this by guests are personal and may not reflect the views of others.
Good save, Carl. Don't forget, next week, send in, if you're listening to this, send in your FPV horror stories, please, for the love of God, because I don't think I can get away with showing the time that me and Tony
Also,
and
we have some guests.
Oh, yeah.
Which we should tease.
Yeah.
We have.
Yeah. Oh my.
Jack has been busy booking people because he's industrious and well connected, an incredibly attractive man. He's been going and talking to Almac,
Extremely attractive.
getting
super
him,
attractive.
and also the team around AM32, which has expanded a bunch recently. We've had, I think, one of the number on before. We're going to get a few more of them on and be talking about where the project came from, where it's going, and what they're looking to do with everything there under the AM32 umbrella.
Yeah, shout out to Almac. Shout out to Almac FPV, man. Super cool dude.
Yeah. The best story will try and make it so you win something. I don't know what it is yet. It will be Maybe it will be stickers. Maybe we can all club together for
Maybe
some
a
sort
big
of
bag of catnip
gift
that's
card
labelled weed.
award.
We just don't know.
Maybe a smooch
It-
from Brighton Till I Fly.
Signed propellers. It might be a picture of Tony from him getting out of the shower to hang on your
Preferably.
wall. Who knows?
the-
You can get
That's
a
the highest
poster of
preference.
Tony with Vin Diesel's body, which there's a
Yeah.
small run that's talked about in the shadows.
In the
That's it.
darkest of shadows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to see us out
Bye,
because you
Tony.
saw us in, Stephen?
Well, we got to say
I
thank
think
you to
that
all our
would be
patrons,
patrons.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you to our
no
lovely Patreons. If it wasn't
Thank
for
you.
you, we wouldn't be able to do the show. You pay for the editing, you help us keep this train wreck on the road. Thank you so much.
Trains go on the road.
Guys rule.
Yeah, well, this train wreck
Railroad.
does. Sparks everywhere, mate. Okay, so thank you very much. This week you have been joined by Jack, aka Brighton Till I Fly,
Thank you.
Cole, also known as Camera Dude,
Yes, sir. See ya.
and myself, Stephen or Belrick over in Discord. Thanks very much. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Email let'sdroneout.com. Gmail.
And why's that?
Stories.